present Dr. R.L. Chance, and he's the author of Monetize Your Skills. Here's one of his books right here. And amazing book. He's actually selling this book in the back, and I tell you what, he's probably going to not like this, but get his autograph, because he's going to be, he is a best-selling author, and I'm pretty sure he's going to get very popular. So make sure you get your, maybe sell on eBay later on.
All right, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Guys, you can do better than that. I know some of you guys were eating outside a second ago. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. All right, so a little bit housekeeping. Feel free to ask questions. I'm a preacher as well, right? So, you know, we're not going to ask you to say amen. We're going to ask you to respond. Right? So, I like some feedback because you paid, some of you paid to be here, so get at least $10 worth out of it. But if you give me some feedback, feel free to ask questions when we have the Q&A at the end, okay? And so, but first of all, I want you to know that it is a privilege, it's a blessing to be here to share. Anytime you can share something with somebody that might help them out, it's a privilege I know, okay? So I value your time, you're busy, I'm glad that you are here. For those who, we're going to actually record some of this as well, so if you can't get it, you know, don't worry, you can get the replay later on. And so, with that, how many of you thought of writing a book before? A book, okay? So now that is good because actually a few years ago there was in the New York Times there was actually a research that was done that says 81% of all Americans actually have a dream and a desire to write a book, right? But many of them shouldn't. That's not a bad thing. I'm going to share with you why, right? Because there are a lot of assumptions around being an author, okay? So I'm going to give you both sides of the equation, right? So we can be balanced, okay? So now, what are we going to learn in today's seminar? Not webinar, but today's seminar, okay? So I want to teach you and share with you how professionals, small business owners, entrepreneurs like yourself can monetize your skills. Your skills meaning your education, your expertise, your experiences. But for me, the biggest reason I want to share with you this is because of three things. So you can fund your dreams. Some of us have big dreams and our jobs just will not do to help sustain that dream. We have missions, we have causes. And that's one of the reasons why I got into this because like we said, I am a pastor, I preach, I teach. When I got out of the military, I became a missionary. And so I realized that in order to even help the poor, it really does require resources. And many people don't like to have that conversation. Okay, I'll share with you more in my intro. So first we have to deal with paradigm shift. What is a paradigm shift? It's a fundamental change in our approach and our assumptions, right? So tonight, there might be three groups of people. Some of you are excited about what you're going to learn tonight. Some of you are going to actually take what you learned and you're going to run with it because you're going to see it in why. There's some of us tonight who we're going to have our ratings up and we're going to say, I don't know what that bald-headed guy is talking about. I don't think that's for me. And then some of us, so you might be, you know, kind of skeptical, doubtful, and so forth, and that's okay. Because we can agree to disagree, and sometimes we are not where we need to be at certain points in life. So I'm all right with that. And there's some of us, we're going to leave tonight and we might even say, why in the world did I go there? What happened there? Because we might be thinking of sleeping, we might be thinking of food, we might be thinking of something else. So just for a few moments, let's realize that paradigm shifts are important because we have to change. Is change necessary? Even when we don't want to change, we actually are forced to change sometimes. But I would rather us be educated and smart people to choose to change. Because when you don't choose to change, it can be very painful and difficult, especially when you have to delay the inevitable. Some changes are just inevitable. And so we kind of run and we refrain from them. Okay? So here's a quotation from Muhammad Yunus. He says, by simply capitalizing on core strengths and knowledge, companies and entrepreneurs can engage in an emerging business model that will do what? They can create, demonstrate real what? Sustainable impact. And this is why everybody who's in business, I was talking to Joel a while ago. Joel has been in business since in the early 90s, late 90s, right? And Joel, if you're going to be a businessman, you need continuous what? Revenue to sustain your mission, your vision of why you went into business. No business can continue without revenue. No business can continue without customers, right? And so this is what I'm really talking about. Even if you do charity, anybody in here have a non-profit? That's your non-profit. Anybody else have causes, right? Charities, churches, whatever have you. You cannot continue providing as good as a charity that is. If people stop donating, you have a problem, right? If you don't come up with funds next month, even some of your volunteers will quit. So we have to figure out how we can be creative on our own end so that we can continue these causes. And whatever it is, I don't see a difference at all between whether you're doing passion work from the heart as a charity or if it's a business. To me, it's all the same. If you provide valuable products and services to people, that is blessed in the eyes of God. That's how I look at it. And so there's no difference to me. So all of it is your vision. You have a vision in your heart to do something. And I know the only thing, generally speaking, that holds us back is a lack of financial resources. That's really the only thing that holds many people back. So, as Mike said, I don't like this part, right? This is the most uncomfortable part because, like I said, I'm not the one to kind of toot my own horn, but here are a few of the things here. So, I've done a lot of stuff in my life, but I think the most important one is I married my BMW, okay? Now, my BMW meaning my beautiful, marvelous wife. Okay. And so Joel, by the way, Joel, my son's name is Joel as well. Okay, so that's my wife. She's from Puerto Rico. You guys saw her in the back a while ago. When I was in the military, my last duty station was in Puerto Rico, and actually, somebody kind of prophesied. They said, hey, whenever you come to Puerto Rico, if you're in the military, you leave with a wife. I don't know where they got that from, Mike, but I'm like, it came to pass after 3 years. So, but it's been a blessing. My wife is big into health. She's a vegan, and we started a blog together. But we also, I've lectured at the NAP hospital every week at my church on the Genesis Life Center every Thursday, which today we work. We teach about health, mainly from a holistic, natural approach. And so that's why, too, I like to work with people's projects that have to do with health. So these are just some of the things that I've done. So let me just share with you. So I've published now 7 books, and 5 of them, the last 5 were back-to-back #1 bestsellers. And that's what I want to talk to you about a little bit this evening. Because why weren't the first couple bestsellers? Because I didn't know. Right? And you can't shoot yourself for what you didn't know. But there's a difference between not knowing from plain ignorance and willful ignorance. But some of us can know, but we choose not to know.
Right.
Because information is readily available on any subject and topic, but we refuse to make the effort. We rather stay in neutral. We don't want to face the paradigm and the reality. So this one also is a wonderful book. I love it. It's in the back there. Again, you guys can get any of the material in the back. But this, when I got out of the service, the most difficult thing for me getting out of the service was, how am I going to replace my military income? And so I knew that that's a thought that almost every veteran has, and some of them who want to transition are afraid to transition. So that's why I wrote this with, actually this was my boss in Puerto Rico, and so he had finished his PhD at that time. I said, hey, let us come together and work on this book. I actually had a different topic in mind, but I just wanted him to do something because I was trying to coach him, because he was out of the military as well, finished this doctorate degree, and I'm like, what are you doing with this PhD that you worked so hard for? He's at a job, still at the job right now. And I'm like, man, you gotta do something. Let's create a book and I'll show you a whole system of how to monetize that book. So anyhow, a 90-day strategy to launch a lucrative career or business using the military training and education, right? Simple 90-day strategy. This one is on prayer. Like I said, of course, I'm a preacher, so a lot of my stuff are on spirituality. But I made a bold assumption here is prayers can be answered 100% of the time. Many people say, oh, my prayers are unanswered and heard, right? So I made a bold argument and I did an actual, like how Mike does on Facebook. I went in some private Facebook group and I asked people, I said, hey, if I wrote a book about prayer and I say some prayers are answered, most prayers are answered, or prayers can be answered 99% of the time. They said, no, I want 100%. I said, yes, I agree with you. And so that was the winner. So these are ways I can help you guys understand how to get winning titles as well. Okay, this is another one, my son, right? On his first birthday, his granddad wanted some pictures. His granddad hadn't seen him at that time, so he wanted some pictures. So I spent an entire night creating a whole collage of pictures, and I put them in a magazine, right? And I sent it just out as a PDF. And by that time, I'd written several books, and I'm like, hold on. Why am I doing all this work for what? So the very next day, I actually went on Amazon, and I launched this book, and it became a bestseller. And I did this book in one night, in just one night. Okay, so my most recent project, which I really, it has blown my own socks off, and it has been a big surprise to me because I think this will be the main thing that I spend the rest of myself and life doing, because it has gotten so much attention and so many people like the message in it. So that's another lesson, authors. You got to keep going until you find the one, right? If you stop at number one, see, this is number, and this is what? Number 7, right? 7 is a number of perfection. So with this one, this has really done a whole lot of turned this into a whole business model, including an online course that some of you can access as well. So with this book, I just came out with this book in April, and that's why we're here, because Mike got a hold of this book, and I appreciate NHPO for the opportunity to share with you guys. But are you guys making the correlation already? You see, people can share things, but when you are thinking, I want you to begin thinking. So Mike did not know me. I knew his wife. I met his wife at a veteran business seminar, right? And she got a book, one of my books at that time, right? But Mike saw this book, liked the title. He shared it with NHPO. NHPO liked the title and said, can you come and speak? Did anybody make the correlation there? Right? Did anybody make the correlation? So you see what your book can do. I'm going to share what you want. Okay, so let's go. I'm going to go a little fast, so I give you some time to ask the questions, grill me about anything and everything that has to do with either online business or I'm creating a book. So I've discovered from research and study, and by the way, this book was part of a master's degree project that I was actually working on. It was actually my master's project to culminate my master's degree in project management. So, because all this time, I was dabbling all the time in the internet, you know, online, in the military, just dabbling here and there. Then in about 2010, I made my first $1,000 on the internet, and I'm like, hold on, this thing works. This thing works. So I started going to universities and different places and speaking to students, speaking to everybody. Then I learned how to publish. Then I started doing my own little seminars on publishing, and it has opened up an amazing world. But over the years, I keep knowing all of these people. Some of them have degrees, most of them don't. And I'm like, how are they making so much money? And I'm talking about boku dinero, okay? So I actually went out and I interviewed these people. I've studied now over 110 of them, all making 6 and 7 figures. Because even to be interviewed on my stuff, you have to be making 6 figures, verified, right? So if you read this book, you're going to read many of their stories in there, including 2 of them, which I'm glad are from members of my own congregation, right? So that's another thing. Did you think when I was in Round Rock, I came from, you know, down here about almost 3 years ago, one of these gentlemen was a millionaire in my church. Did you think we lacked for anything? Our mission, we never had to worry about anything we needed to do in the community. Why? Because we had financial backing. Not because we were trying to do, you know, people say milk them. No, it's because people, almost everyone in my church at that point over there, they were all entrepreneurs. So we never had an issue with money. Never had an issue. Never even had a discussion. You know, when you go to the board, well, we can only do X, Y, Z. I never had a rebound. Because if one didn't want to do it, or the board didn't want to do it, I just go to my brother. Hey, how you doing? We got this project. Not a problem, Pastor. Not a problem. You just don't want to write. And so that's the kind of stuff that we're talking about. So it's amazing. So this book is what entrepreneurs, professionals, and business owners can do to leverage, keyword, leverage your education, your skills, your expertise, leverage, right? And how many people have a job? I mean, that's not a bad thing. How many folks have a job? How many are business owners? Okay, so even if you're in business, even if you have a job, we can leverage what you are doing without disrupting your main line of business, right? You don't have to disrupt what you're doing, but can you leverage what you are doing to even create, more revenue, attract more customers, more clients, and I'm going to show you the simplest way to do it. So here I am with some of these people who I've got to meet over the years as well, including Dr. Clarice Floyd. Actually, she is a 7-figure earner. She was in our space. She's a faith person. And after ministry, she retired. She said, what is she going to do? And she said, well, she had a vision that she needs to now network and parlay with folks like you guys, business people. So she got into real estate, and then she started speaking as a professional motivational speaker. Now she writes books, she goes online, she does these seminars and webinars online, and she charges people for them. Simple? Different? Yes. But she's leveraging her expertise over the years, and now she's creating a whole new level of income. Here we have also millionaire Dr. Willie Jolly, right, by Toastmasters. Anybody know Toastmasters? Right? He's listed by Toastmasters, one of the top 5 speakers in the world, right? So him, bam, got his signatures on many of his books. Adam Ginsberg, the internet marketer, millionaire, anything that has to do with YouTube, eBay and Amazon, this guy is the expert to go on that stuff. But these are all people that over the years, especially in the last 3 years, that I've been having to mentor me and share with you. So paradigm means opportunity, right? So look at change as an opportunity. When change is coming around, even if you are sick, for example, that's an opportunity. Here's how. Because if you're sick, some people know they need to change, they don't want to change, so sickness comes, and now you have to reevaluate what you want to do, right? If you got cancer tomorrow, will that change how you live, where you work, what's important? So even sickness can be an opportunity to leverage now so we can change. So I don't look at anything that happens bad in the economy per se as a bad thing. I look at it, what's the new opportunity that is being created, right? There was a gentleman a few years ago, he died now, but he wrote a book called Rich God, Poor God. And he was a financial investor. He had 2 stocks and 2 stocks only. One that makes money when the stock market goes down and one that makes money when it goes up. So no matter what the economy does, he was making money. Right? But when the market goes down, what do? Well, we get scared, we get afraid, and we start retreating. Rather than saying, what's the new opportunity? So question, what do all these people have in common? How many people know John Maxwell? You guys better raise your hands. All right. John Maxwell, certified coach right here. Tony Robbins, okay? How many of you know Les Brown? Motivational speaker, man, he's a pretty good guy. If you want to get your morning fired up, then you got to get this guy. Business owners, hey, it's not easy to stay motivated. We need a daily dose of motivation. I recommend Les Brown. Susie Orman, my first book in the military on finances was from Susie Orman. Okay, so what do they all have in common? What do they all have in common? Let me share with you what they have in common real quick. Tony Robbins, if you go on his website, does Tony Robbins have books? How many of you have read a book from Tony Robbins? Right? Listen to it, right? Not only that, but here's the thing. He has products, he has coaching events, and so forth. The light is going to go off in just a moment. Many of us were introduced to these famous people through their books. If you think about it. You just never did before, but really think about it. They all have books. Now, here's John Maxwell, leadership guru, right? Look at all of these books. And then, what does he do with the books? Now he has workshops, events, and so forth, even certifications. His certification is probably about 5,000 plus. Now, these are what he turned into these and what has created extra revenue. Do not ask how much you can make. Ask what is required to make X, Y, Z. See, I don't want his money. I want to know how he made his money. Because if I know how he made his money, then I can apply it and probably even make more, right? May not make more like here, but I'm just saying the chances are high that you can now learn for yourself. Because again, that's why even this model has changed my own way of helping the poor. Because no one wants to have a continual handout. Now what we do, especially when we go to Africa, we now educate them to fish for themselves. We teach them business principles so they can help themselves. Because I can't come to Africa every single year just to keep feeding them. Because you cannot continually eradicate poverty that way. We got to learn these type of things. So, here's another one. Susie Orman, you go on her website, what she got? Books, she got all of these things. Are we there? You see in the picture? Les Brown. First motivational book I ever read in my life was Live Your Dreams by Les Brown. And from there, I bought so many other things from Les Brown. But that's how I was introduced to him on the military base. I saw his book, bought it, and then I started learning a whole lot more about the man. Right? But again, if you go in there, look, Les Brown has DVDs. This is his brand new book, his latest book. After like 20-some years, he didn't write a book. This is a new book. And guess what? This book is also an online course, which I have both of them. Okay? Guys, are you leaving money on the table? You've heard about acres of diamonds. Are you leveraging your acres of diamonds? Right? We can mine our own acres of diamonds. You don't have to mine the Les Browns. He's mining his own. But can you mine what is in your brain? Right? You see, what is in your mind right now is money. You see, all of us have the capacity to create the future and the visions and dreams we want, but we're just not taking action on them. The moment you think of something that can be done is an opportunity that is waiting to probably set your future free. Right? Because we say, some people say thoughts are things, and it is true. Right? Because when I think of writing a book, it does not exist to you, but it exists to me. This book did not come in existence the day it was published. It was in existence the day I thought about it. It was just time before I realized, and before you realized it. So let me ask you a question. Think about this, right? Think about this. Anybody is an architect, designer, does blueprint? Now, you're an architect, sir?
No, but I like to design.
But you understand. Okay, so when an architect decides to build a building, when does the building exist? Of course. Because it has to exist here, and then he does what? Make the blueprint. Right? And then from the blueprint, what happens next? We will get the material. We assemble a team of people. But you see, people will say the house is now existing when it is actually there. But no, it was existing before that. That's the divine creativity that each and every one of us have. We have the ability to create ex nihilo. Out of nothing, we can create something. But you have to act on that. So that's why I no longer call myself a lifestyle coach. I call myself an implementation strategist. I realize that the biggest problem of people receiving coaching is they don't implement. So I'm carving out a whole new niche now where it's implementation. So better be careful. If you want me to help your book and you're not willing to learn, we want to implement. So that's why now you know to hear people are writing books in 6 days, 1 day, an hour. Why? Implementation. If you're not willing to implement, we can't work. But if you're willing, even if you feel somewhat willing, we can work with that. So we put on the military. Right, Erica? Right, Erica just finished writing her book. Ready to go? 100 days. Where's my book, sister? There you go. Online Profit Secrets. Right there she goes. I give her 100-day challenge. Day number 88, it was published up on Amazon. You can order it right now. 100 days. 100 days from now, can you write a book? 100 days from now, can you create an online course? Let's show you some people who are doing it. Not only that, now, here's the next trend. So we're talking about books. Now look at this now. Global Market Insight says that the e-learning industry is 165 billion, but that was what, 2015. And it will now go up to over $240 billion. Are we there? Opportunity? Of course, everybody's learning online now. Not only that, but LinkedIn. LinkedIn bought lynda.com, which is an online learning platform, for $1.5 billion. Somebody should have noticed. LinkedIn would not spend that type of money if they didn't capitalize or realize that the e-learning industry was the next trend. You see that? But you and I, we can get a piece of the pie. Don't leave the pie to the big dogs. Like, these guys are the big guys, but you know what? You and I, we can capitalize on it much easier. Because it's very difficult for big companies to make some of these changes. That's why today you see a lot of young millionaires, young online entrepreneurs making a whole lot of money. Why? Because we are leaving it for them. But I want a little piece. How about you? Just a little piece. That's all you need. If you have a tribe of 1,000 people, you're set for life. You're set for life in this economy. Now, here's some of the platforms. Teachable, Kajabi, Zenla. All of these are platforms where you can actually create online courses, some for free. Zenla is a total free online platform. Kajabi, you can actually spend just a little bit. Teachable, everything you need to teach something about anything. If you go on Udemy, for example, people have courses on there on how to teach their dogs to be obedient. So don't feel like you don't have something. No, your something is something. Somebody wants your something. I may not want it, Erica may not want it, but somebody does. And if you can capitalize on creating something that somebody wants, that's all that's necessary. All right? So, not only that, but here's the next thing. This is why I realized that this too is the new trend. Oprah. You know when Oprah decides to do something, she's done her research. Have you ever noticed, for example, if you're a smart business owner, right? Have you noticed? If McDonald's go into a new community, what pops up right after that? These are the ones, right? And not only that, gas stations. Why? Because McDonald's already did the work. They did the research. So chances are you will do well if you just go beside HEB and put up a store. If you go beside Walmart and put up something. Why? Because they did their homework. You can ride on there. See what I'm saying? So when I see all of these people, Steve Harvey, Irina Huffington, Brenda Bouchard, all of these people created online courses, and not only that, but Oprah created her own network where you can actually put courses on the whole site. I said, hold on, this is a new reality. This is a new reality. Now, some of you, any physicians in the room? I'm showing you different people and examples of what's happening. Dr. Amy Myers. Now, she's a physician. She's already making 6 figures. But why does she have books and courses? She's already making 6 figures. You go on her website, all the lady, by the way, hey, she does have some really good stuff. You know, I can vouch for it. Nick Nanton, lawyer, books, courses. Right? And by the way, he even does mostly online marketing now, not necessarily being a lawyer. Why? Because he's making more money with this than actually as a lawyer. Interesting? Michael Hyatt, anybody knows Michael Hyatt? If you don't know Michael Hyatt, please begin to follow Michael Hyatt like tomorrow. Okay? Michael Hyatt, actually, he was the CEO of Thomas Nelson Bible Publishers, and now he started his own blog, and now he makes over $4 million a year. Is that better than being the CEO of Thomas Nelson? I bet it is. But here's the thing. He created books, and he has online courses as well. Not only that, but this is one, if you want to know how to grow a tribe and how to follow it, I highly recommend that book. I have that book. Okay? So, get that book called Platform. So now, Chan, show me the money. Now, okay, we see the realities. Now, I hope you see the big picture. Now, the reason I'm giving you this, right, because I want you to believe, because many people focus on the how. If you don't know why and what, your how can be mistaken. Because there are many hows. Okay? There are many hows to make a lot of money. Right? You just look at the different businesses in there. Those are different hows. But why should be the motivating factor. Because if I know why I want to write a book, then hey, when Chance tells you, hey, I need you to write 10 pages in the next 2 days, if your why is strong enough, you get it done. If your why is shaky, guess what? See what I'm saying? See the difference? Not only that, but when you get discouraged, I'm overwhelmed. I got your text, right? I'm overwhelmed. Yeah, you're overwhelmed. But guess what? In 88 days, the overwhelm is gone. So let's lift the weight down, right? Strong why. So I took a year off of writing books. I think in 2015 didn't write no books because I saw the trend. So now I started converting my books to what? Online courses. So you can have your courses listed as small as you want, or they can be as expensive as this. This is a military veteran, okay? He's a fighter pilot. Look at this course. Consultant Profit, by the way, also highly recommend that, right? This is not mine, this is his. But here's the thing. How much is he charging? $19.97. How many of those would he need to sell to make $1 million?
500.
500. Now, if you took a whole year, sir, is that all right? If you can take a whole year to make $1 million? What about if it's 2 years? Is that still all right? Because all you need is 500. See, you see the power? But what if we just say it's only a course, or it's only a book? How many books will you have to sell to make $1 million? A whole lot. If it's $10, right? You have to sell a whole lot. But what if the course, if the book became a course and you sell the course now for, see the difference? You can decide, you can decide. You can sell toothpaste if you want to and make $1 million. You can sell Rolls Royces. You still make $1 million either way. My time is so important, I can't waste time selling $1 million toothpaste for $1. What I would rather do, I would take it in 6 months to go and sell only 2 Rolls Royces and I have $1 million in a year. Do you see the map? Here's another one. This is one of the courses I also took as well to be certified as a publisher. $4,000. For this is a course, and it's all online, by the way. I mean, if you sold 1,000, how much money is that in a year? How about $4 million? Right? Well, it's $3.9 million. So let's just round it off to 4. And that's a course, and it's only 1,000 you would need to sell. Now here's the thing. If you needed to make $4,000 a month, how many would you need to sell? 1. Now what if you took 10 days out of the month and you sold your 1? Can you relax for the rest of the month? Well, sometimes you can, when you're smart, you keep hustling. But the reality is now you realize the difference because we're putting in so much on the job that we're leaving money on the table. So if you get my card, I don't really carry cards anymore. I use my books, but here's the thing. This is the card. Simply says, are you leaving money on the table? I think we all are leaving money on the table, right? Don't leave money on the table. You have knowledge and expertise that you can monetize beyond your job. Get rid of some bills fast, right? I'll show you what this has done for me. So sustainable development is the pathway to the future, right? It offers a framework to create economic growth, guys. Social justice and stewardship strengthen governance. If you can get sustainable in your own income, you can do a whole lot. Now here's another thing. Church work, charity, whatever is on your heart. We just talk about passion. What are you concerned about, right? So when I got out of the military, I worked for 7 years in a nonprofit. 7 years. That's what gave me a whole new perspective on life. Whole new perspective and understanding of money. And when I came to Texas, I left that agency, right? Because that's what I was working with. And by the way, for 7 years, I was making 3 times less than what I was making in the military. 3 times less. But I've had so much joy. So yes, it's not about money. But the reason why we could have the reason why we could have done what we did was what? Because we had resources. People were giving all the time. And I used to remember going to churches and I would see people write checks for $5,000 and $10,000. I was the recipient. We were receiving this to do service. But always in my mind, I'm like, I would love to be the one writing that check. Sure. Isn't that a blessing? Think about that. Yes. You see, we all want to be received, but the good book says it's more blessed to give than to receive. Yeah. You see, the recipient, we feel happy, we feel excited. And rightfully so, somebody give you $10,000, you should be great. But no, remember I said, hey, how did you write that check? What are you doing so you can write such big checks? That's my dream. So I started small. Let me write my first $500 check. Then I set little goals. Then I said, let me write my first $1,000 check. You know what I mean? I always wanted to pay like a whole, we talk about tithing, give it 10%. I said, I want to tithe an entire paycheck. When I hit 30 years old, I pay a whole month towards tithes. I felt so good. Giving feels good. That's the big why. So when people tell me, oh, it's not about money, I say, yes, brother, but you haven't been on the side of poverty. I grew up in poverty. 7 years, I've traveled now to over 25 different countries. Each year we go to Africa to do missions. And here comes Denise, she's working with an organization. They're going to Senegal, right? And we contribute to their stuff as well. So that's my why. Because it's poverty. I've seen poverty, I've lived poverty. So when you really go live poverty, then you can tell me money is not important. And you know, the people who say money is not important, I say this, okay, that's true. But even if you say you believe in God, do you think that Sally Mae is going to take that? Do you think the airline industry, when you're ready to travel, they're going to say, no, Mike, you're serving God. We appreciate what you're doing. No, they're not going to say that. Your landlord don't say we're waiting on you because you're doing good. They need their paycheck too. Everybody needs their paycheck. So the point is that find your big why and then begin to think outside the box to monetize your skills. And the two ways I give to you is really and truly is what has helped me to make my first $1 online, $10, $100, $1,000, and $10,000. Before this book was finished, right? But praise the Lord, I'm a veteran, right? So it did pay for my master's, but technically my master's cost me about $12,000 something. But even before I finished writing this book, I had already received $12,000 because of this book. Right? Why? What if I didn't? So in other words, even if you want to go finish a degree, figure out what you can do to create something and pay for it. Right? I have no student loans today, praise the Lord. I don't want that. How am I going to pay for my next doctorate? Same way. And not only that, but you know the reason why what I'm going to do is I'm going to also take my my dissertation and turn it into a business as well. Right? Because again, this is my master's project. My first 3 books about spirituality were based on my doctoral dissertation. It can be that easy, guys. This book on prayer that I did, this book on prayer, give me a time check, my what time is it? No? Oh yeah. Okay, here's the thing. You see this book? Prayers That Move Heaven. Okay? Even if you're not religious, we're not here talking religion. I'm sharing with you principles. Okay? Here's the thing. This book, in between 2006 and 2009, I did a class. Okay? I did a class. And I had to do a paper on prayer. And that paper was about 26 pages, 23, 26 pages. So in 2015, again, I'm teaching people creative ways, and so I have to set the example first. So guess what? This book is those 26 pages that I expanded upon. In 2015, I created this book, but every single thing from that paper that I did in 2015, between 2006 and 2009, that's the book. Are you guys beginning to see your creativity? You can take your schoolwork, turn it into a book. If you have a master's degree, monetize it, right? Because that's what I told the university. I said, I don't want to do a thesis this time. I want to do a project because I'm like, your master's or doctoral dissertation is sitting down in a university doing what? Dust. They don't even look at it. And not only that, you paid them thousands of dollars. And it's sitting down on it. I said, hey, my stuff ain't sitting down in nobody's university. I said, I'm going to take my stuff and I want to monetize it. I work hard for it already. Right? So why not try to recoup some cost? So everybody has a book inside of them. If you've written anything in the past, you got something. And don't feel that it has to be so, let me tell you, this new economy is so great. Young people, especially millennials, and listen, they don't even want to read over 100 pages good. Right? So that's the reality. This is my biggest book, right? This book is, and because it's really a lot of research, this book has about 270 something pages thereabout, right? But notice, this one was my second book. Listen, you can read this on the toilet. So if you want a good toilet read, get this book and just put it there. About 2 or 3 times you'll be done. Right? This was my first book, was a story. This was my spiritual journey in the military. That's why I got out of the military, because I wanted to serve more on an intrinsic level. But this book is just 144 pages, right? And then this one was actually a sermon series that I did. By the way, that's another one. Everybody knows people like T.D. Jakes and Joel Osteen? By the way, it seems like every week they're coming out with a new book, isn't it? How do they come up with these books? People take their sermon series and just actually transcribe it and put it in a form. And that's their book. You see how easy it is? Right? It is simple. Why are books so powerful? When you go to school, what do you learn with? Textbooks. Somebody has to write those textbooks. And normally it's a professor, isn't it? But do you know that even some of these textbooks, to make revisions, they actually use some of the students' work to actually revamp and update the courses. Right? Books are powerful because books can go where you can't go. Books build credibility, instant credibility. That's why I recommend every professional today, I don't care who you are, any industry, any niche, you should have a book. Because all the authority leaders have books. So again, you follow the trend. If all of these are, Bob Proctor, how many people know Bob Proctor? Bob Proctor, does he have books? Come on, you just name me somebody famous. Do they have books?
Jim Rohn?
Jim Rohn, does he have books? Ton load of them. Right? So how can you say I'm a serious professional and you don't have a book? If they want to hire somebody, who you want to hire? The guy you hire the guy who wrote it, because we look at him what? Instant expert. This book, I keep this book, I have the author's signature. He was a professor at my wife's alma mater, Oakwood University in Alabama. Now, this book changed my mother's life. Like my father, my mother, of course, they have kids young, you know. Many people do. But my mom never graduated from high school. I was blessed by this book. I sent her this book. My mother read this book. She went back to school. I would buy 1,000 copies of this book. Your book can change somebody's life. Your story can change somebody's life. And sometimes we do for different reasons. But let me tell you, even my church, I never sell my books to my church members. I never even promote anything on my church. I don't believe in that. I don't do it, right? But here's the thing. Most time when I get up to preach, I say, any visitors in the house today, I can give them my book. I give it away for free. Right? Because some books are passion books. This book is just my story. I really make no money at all on this book. Because I don't promote it, I don't sell it. Because this is to share with people where I think if my story can encourage somebody, it can encourage. Now, my main two books that I use for business are really these two. Right? But all the others are just blessings. I call them blessing books. So you can write a book just to chronicle your experience and your stories. Right? And you might not be looking to make money on it, but it tells a story, can encourage somebody. Right? You know, my sister, you look like a fit lady. What if you write a book to share with people how to do what? How to look like you?
Can I tell you something?
Talk to me.
The Lord has been calling me. I just signed up for a fitness competition to share my story, because God called me to. I have lost 90 pounds.
Come on, come on, come on. Congratulations.
I've been called to tell my story. I've always been very kind of scared to, and so you are speaking to me.
How many people want to lose some weight up in here? Don't. Let's be buy your book right there. Buy your book. So here's the thing. How I lost 90 pounds and feel great. Do you want to put that in the tagline? See what I'm saying? Put yourself on the cover. Not somebody else now. You put yourself on the cover. How I lost. I want to know how you lost 90 pounds. If everybody else want to lose pounds, she did it. Can she talk about it? Does she have to go get a PhD? No, she has the experience. Yeah. That's why I talk about what? How to leverage your education. Some of us are academics. Expertise, but experiences is a teacher. You don't have to be the so-called expert. If you've done it successfully 1 or 2 times, hey, my friend, you can write a book on that issue. And you ought to write a book on that issue. Because I'm telling you, right now, you are holding back some ladies from losing weight. Alright? So hurry up, get that book out there because you owe it to them. That's how you look at it. It's a why. What if you don't write that book? Nobody knows the story. Everybody looking at you with envy. Tell them, don't envy me. Just do what I do. Here's my book. You follow me? And then guess what we're going to do with your book? Now we turn your book into an online course. Look at that. How many people now can you reach? You can leverage even more. So let's just say you create a book is for $10, right? If you needed to make $1,000, how much would you have to sell? 100. What if you create a course for $9.97? How much would you have to sell? 1. You need to write a book because you have $1,000 sitting down on. So if I can just come around and just gain from everybody, I mean, I'm just gonna get money. Here's $1,000 idea right there. Give me some money out of your mind. I wish we can just do that, brother. Give me some money out of your mind. Here's some of the people I interviewed. Everybody knows this guy, Bob Cattell. Bob Cattell is a millionaire who has sold millions of dollars from the stage. I personally interviewed Bob. Bob is a memory expert. Look at that. He's not like no psychologist, but he just knows how to, he was able to be able to monetize that. Hey, I can remember things easy, and I can teach others. And he started doing what? For free. He would go to classes, and he would teach a class. Then a professor would say, my students' grades are improving. Can you come and teach? These are the ones over here, because they ain't remember nothing. So he went over there and started doing that. But then he realized, hold on, If all of these professors are asking me, it's not just the student, then I got something here. There you go, you gotta try something. No one's working. And so then he went out and he started teaching people for a fee. Then he what? Monetized it. He created books and DVDs, and now we have an online course. How we see it? He's a millionaire, guys. All right. Jamie Masters, by the way, she's right here in Austin, Texas. This book leveraged her. She created a book called The Eventual Millionaire. By the way, get it. Okay, you guys are getting some stuff. If you don't have it, get it. If you're a business owner, you gotta read. So get this book. But here's the thing. What's the name of her website? Eventual Millionaire. She's interviewed over 350 millionaires, and she now coaches and trains people. And by the way, to even get it on the ground level for her to coach is over $10,000. And she's younger than I am. Come on, guys. Come on. Leveraging. But notice, you got that too. By the way, Sue Oyuela is making $225,000 a year just renting out a house. Some of you guys, your children who are sitting at home ain't making the money just, hey, saving, hey, I could be making 6 figures, come on. Because she said the same thing. She said actually when she started realizing that this was paying her mortgage, she said, man, I have 2 more kids at home. She said, I couldn't wait for them to leave. But guess what she did now? She wrote about it. 2 books, she wrote about it. Because guess what? She had success with it. And now, just this year, she created an online course, and this course is $1,000. You see the connection? She took what she knows. She has experience. By the way, she failed 37 times at trying a thing. She has no degree, no college degree, but praise the Lord, a 6-figure income of 225 is good by any standard, right? So whether you have education or not, and by the way, education to me is not academic education. Education, you learn in life. You don't have to have a degree to feel. Many of us too feel like we don't have stuff because we don't have a degree. A degree is good to have, but it cannot limit you if you don't allow it to limit you. Matter of fact, in many cases, you're better off without it. Let me tell you, you're better off without it. Because it's both sides. I'm giving you balance. Most of the people who have a hard time understanding, especially online stuff, are those with academics. Because they're so used to what? They can't shift their paradigm because they're academic. Academic as an institutionalized learning causes you to think one way. Majority of entrepreneurs are not academics. So what you do is what? But you hire the academics. Right? You hire them because they know a lot of stuff. They keep the stuff going. But so I'm here. I have degrees myself, right? So I'm not down it. But what I'm saying is I want to empower them to live, because there are many who feel, oh, I can't, if I don't have a degree, I can't do certain things, or I can't be an expert. Let me tell you, go check some of these guys who write in this book. Les Brown didn't graduate from high school. The brother's a millionaire. Come on now, right? Matter of fact, the majority of everybody, of all of those 110 people that I studied and interviewed, let me tell you something. Over 85% of them does not have a degree. Over 85%. Right? So, have it, great. Don't have it, even better. Right? So now, that's an example. Let me give you some local. By the way, academics, so there we go, right? So we're not shutting academics. Susan Pierce Thompson, ladies, if you want to lose weight, here's a good lady as well to follow. But she's a professor, PhD, and she was struggling to lose weight. That's her story. Now, she has a PhD in thinking like something like cognitive science, something along those lines. But after a while, she came to realization, how is it that I'm a woman who is so educated and well smart, and I can't lose weight? And not only that, but I understand how the mind works. So she went to a self-help program, kind of like the 12-step program. And again, idea. She said, if it works for 12-step, it can work in this way. So she created Bright Line Eating online course. She charges $9.97 for this course. Bless you. She charges $9.97 for this course, and by the way, she makes $2 million a year. With this year, she probably should be doubling. A professor. By the way, do you think she's working at the university now? No. Because which university will pay you that? No, it's not just the money, but here's the thing. She's having a bigger reach. University, she was confined. But now she has over 1,000 people that she's impacting their lives. And I'm not into that per se, but I'm on her newsletter. I get her stuff every day. So it's all right. Even guys, don't think that, oh, my message is not important. Your message is important. Questions? Any quick questions? Open the floor. Any how-to questions? Anything? Yes,
Is
ma'am.
there any access to you with the purchase of the online courses? A lot of it is just needing someone to bounce ideas.
Yes.
off of.
Yes, so that's part of the 100 days. So every 100 days I open this course because again I close it and focus just on the people who are taking
But let's
it.
talk for the actual online course.
Oh, outside of that?
Yeah, outside of the online course, is there access?
Yes.
to-
If you go to my website, strategicsecrets.com/services, I have coaching and stuff there as well on the services. So strategicsecrets.com/services. And even that, like I said, when you're coming up with titles, we actually have a group, I'm part of a paid group as well where we bounce title up. So we will submit your stuff there, even when the cover is designed. So sometimes we like, oh, it looks good, it is cute. No, is it saleable? I don't care how cute it is for you. Is it saleable? So we would submit it to people to give the feedback as their potential customers, their buyers. I want to know what the buyer thinks, not what I think. But sometimes we can't divorce from, oh, it feels so good, I don't like it. Erica, Erica painted her bed, we went through a hoopla with Erica with this. I played with her because she think, Erica, oh, I need a deal. I said, okay, we have to surrender that one. You can't win with a woman. So I said, okay, Erica, all right.
Well,
before you
tell her
leave.
because it was orange and it looked like Halloween.
Oh, yeah, that was it. Okay. She said it's Halloween. I said, oh, okay. But I said, so-and-so have the same color and they're making $1 million bucks. But it's all right. But hey, she's happy, and so praise God, I'm happy too. Right? So get the teal, because Erica picked it. Any other questions? So that's a good question. Yes. Do I have a card? Okay, I just give my stuff there. My card is in my... I don't carry a card because that's my card. So get a book. It's the best card. But if you do want one here, this is not a regular business card. It just goes to the website. All right? Any other questions? Come on, guys. Grill me. You have a whole lot. Help them out. Which platform? Oh, this is good. So, oh, there are several, right? We mentioned Kajabi, we mentioned Zenla.com. That's a free platform. It creates your landing pages, sales pages, all of that. So it's easy. Some are paid and some are free. But no matter which one you do, you need your own website. Because when you use any other platform, it's like what we call what you're renting. They can close it down anytime. You see Facebook changing the algorithms all the time, messing up people's marketing and so forth, because we don't own Facebook. Facebook can do whatever. So no matter which one you choose, still have a backup at your own website. So right now I use Zenla and I use my own site. That's the only one. I am actually exploring with a new one called Invanto, I-N-V-A-N-T-O. It seems to be very good. You can manage a whole lot of courses at one point and create like a whole school. So that one, I put up some stuff on there, kind of testing it out. But if it's good, I'm going to move that. Anything else?
The ideal size of a book is in terms of pages, paragraphs, words, what's
It's
ideal?
based on the customer, it's based on the client, who you're trying to reach. So that's what we try to figure out. Because again, different people. Some people want big books, some people want small books. I have a book out there by a guy in health. I mean, his book is over 800 pages. You know, even Tim Ferriss just came out with a book, a Bible, like 600 pages. I bought it, but I ain't gonna read it. But I just want to get it because it's Tim Ferriss. See, another thing, people give away money. I just want to get it because it's Tim Ferriss. Like this Tim Ferriss, you want a book? I'm going to get it, but I'm not going to read it.
Kindle books versus a traditional book.
You need them all. So every book I produce, we generally put it in print as well. Because there's some people, print will never go up. Even though, yes, I'm a firm believer, because Amazon's major sales when it comes to book is from digital. So, and even for me, the more royalty I get is from the digital, less on the print. But we make the book because it's just simply, it's the same thing. So you just make it available in print anyhow. So sizes can range, you know, it depends on the reader and depend on who you're writing to. You got to know who they are, what kind of stuff they like. But make it simple. I would say no more than 124 pages. That's it. 124 to 144 is a good stuff. Most people wouldn't read beyond that. They would just skim through, right? And then you can go, I would say again, you know, so that's a good thing to be. Because if you get 100 or something pages, at least it'll feel good, it'll feel like, you know, like a book kind of book. You know, and then if it's too slim, what happens, we have issue with the spine, right? So, but in the fonts, you can use certain fonts to make the book look bigger than it really is.
Okay, if I'm not a writer and I have an idea, how does my idea translate into a well-written book?
Can you speak?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're right. So we can take your book and transcribe it. You can speak your book, then transcribe it, and then we send it to the editor. That's how I wrote this book in an hour. I actually still have the outline. I just wrote the outline, stuck it up on my wall. I got a mic, and I spoke into the mic. When I finished, I sent it to rev.com to transcribe. When it came back, I sent it straight to the editor. I never touched it again. And that's how the book was done in 1 hour. Rev.com. Rev.com is a place that can transcribe your book or transcribe anything for your business if you need some transcription. And they got a quick turnaround within 24 hours and back to you. So they actually charge $1 a minute. That's good. That's great. By the way, that's how you can repurpose content. Those who are doing blogs, who asked me about blogging earlier. Somebody asked me about doing a blog earlier. If you write or speak something, you can take that spoken thing and create a blog out of it as well. A podcast out of it as well, from one piece of content. So when you get your book, every chapter can be blog post, and it can also be for audio, or you can even record a short video on it. My man right here, Gomez, video expert, right? So you can actually do that. We started a show, he was on there recently called the Monetize You Show. Guess what I'm talking about? The stuff that's in the book.
How many hours did it take you to write that small book? The one that, how you said you were speaking, that you transcribed it, how many hours did it take you? The one that you spoke to?
Oh, this one?
Yeah.
Hour.
The one that
1
you
hour.
spoke.
1 hour.
1 hour you
1
spoke
hour.
everything? 124 pages more?
Yeah, and the good thing is with Rev, they have different people. They will ask you when you finish, where in the United States are you from? Are you Southern? Are you from the Caribbean? What kind of accent you got? So, you know, because I got an accent. So they can understand. Because when I'm speaking, I'm like, you know, you can't really understand some of what I'm saying.
And they'll correct it? They'll make corrections?
No,
for
they
you?
don't make correction. That's why we send it to the editor.
Oh.
That's their job, and that's why it's beautiful, guys. Here's the thing: you don't gotta be an expert. You know what I mean? I'm not an A student, but that's why we pay the editors. They make you look good, and if they don't, it's like you ain't getting hired next time. So just write it, and they will make it look good.
How much does that run, that process from start to finish? Not for your coaching, but just to do the actual speaking and put it in?
Again, it depends. That's why we say first, know exactly what you're talking about. And that's why if you want to write a book fast, write about what you know. So you don't need no research and all that stuff. If it's in you, it comes out easy.
But if you
That's
know,
why I like to be like, here, I can just stand up and speak because this is in me. I have to go figure out a lot of things. So write about what you know, what you've experienced, because it comes easier, right? So the process depends. If you speak slow, if you speak fast, so I can't say, but generally to speak a book, if you do 4 to 6 hours, you have a big book. You have a big book
Well, how
because
much
you'll have
is
people truncate.
the investment, the cost to do the process, more or less.
Más o menos, well, you're looking at from the low end, $1,000 to 5,000, 10,000,
On a book like
50,000.
that, on a beginning book, starter book like that, 125 pages.
What, again, it depends on how much you need. If you just want to put it up on the Kindle, again, it can just be, again, from $1,000 to 10,000 or more. It just depends on how much you want to put into it, right? Especially, like I said, the biggest cost is truly the marketing cost. Because we have so many tools. And if you're young today, you can get away, it's more forgiving. That's why we say too academic. I find academics are difficult to work with because everything got to be perfect. And if it's not perfect, they don't put it out. And they spend 20 years. But the younger folks, millennials, hey, it's done, I'm done. Put it out there. That's what I do. Because here's the thing, even in the front of my book, sometimes I say, if you find grammatical errors in there, send me an email and let me know.
Yeah.
They help me edit the book. I'll even give you a reward. See what I'm saying? So don't wait because, again, perfection is something that comes with time. That's why you have version 2.0. When I update the book, I can correct all the errors, right? But if it's content, people are not so concerned with the grammatical errors per se. But I know if you're a doctor, if you're somebody, a lawyer, you want to be, you know. And so that's another thing. Depending on who the client is or how educated you are, we use a different editor. If I need something out of the door tomorrow, I pay, there's a lady with a PhD, I pay her because I need it right now, tomorrow, right? But if it's just like an ebook where people are going to download, I have another lady, it's very simple. And she's an elderly lady actually, but she has, degrees, but the whole point is she charges next to nothing. because I'm not so, it's not like, it's not gonna, I'm just giving it away for free. So it all depends again. So
Do you
if
have-
you,
do you
you can
write
pick
blogs?
editors,
Do you write blogs and market your services in your blog?
yes, every blog post is an opportunity. That's how one person who made a testimonial here, that's how they found my stuff actually. I never even contacted them on that. I did a blog post about writing and courses and so forth and posted on Facebook. They saw it on Facebook, read the post, but in the middle of the post was, take this course. And that's how they got into the course. And so that itself, look at that. From that, the blog post, right, led to one course, they took another course, and just even that alone itself, from that, just one whole transaction was over $15,000.
Sometimes the concept is you go and you take life experience, you set up the appetizer for it, set up what you're going to do the outcome create with the whole purpose of getting to the main course on the online course, right? The online courses. Can you apply your technique to like someone that's wanting to like that's created like a book series, like a Harry Potter type book? Can you apply your technique to something?
Yes, it's the same thing. Because hey, look at Harry Potter. Harry Potter became, when it was book, but they're already big too, right? You made videos of that. But the book became what? Movies. The book became paraphernalia, accessories, and all of the different things. See what I'm saying? They're obsessed with it, so they create this and that, apps, video games, it doesn't stop.
He's a nurse practitioner from Longwood, and he has books, but doesn't monetize it. And then I have another colleague who sent me a book so I could edit for him. And I told him, like a Harry Potter type deal, but you know, this is something that I can do. Like I would invest in just getting a book so that we could monetize it.
There you go. It's just being creative. And by the way, you say you edit?
Yeah.
Well, you need to talk to me. That's another contact right here, brother. Get in touch with me right there. Okay? So, any other question? So it doesn't matter what it is. The monetization process is similar. And it's that you're not limited to course. I recommend that because, again, when we talk about paradigm shift, that's the new thing that is making people a gobble of money. And again, as you can see from these examples, like I said, right? I'm not here to shout and toot my horn or anything, but I said this process is helping me, and I'm all right with that.
Is putting up your own book, is that helpful in branding yourself on a particular
Oh
subject?
yes, oh yes. Brendan Bouchard, every book that he releases makes him $1 million, and each one is its own brand. And that's exactly what I'm doing right now with Monetize Your Skill. It's becoming a brand. Even her, she helped me out. She created some t-shirts. I don't know if you want t-shirts, the t-shirts are back there as well. Erica created t-shirts out of that. Another lady who liked the book, I didn't even, I was going to do a podcast, but this other lady has an online video show. It was her idea because she liked the book. And so I said, okay, get 3 people together, let's create a business around it, just that part. And so what I do, I split the revenue 50-50. Anything that sells through through that show, they get 50%. Simple like that. And even that, by the way, if any of you like this book, check it out first. Look at the course, examine it. If you do like it, I give you 50%. And you can sell it if you want to on your own stuff. That's revenue as well. You don't have to create the courses already created. 50%, not a problem. Not a problem. Any others? If you don't have any, email me, call me, go on the website, it's there.